What's up, fam? Welcome back to the Steep Stuff Podcast. I'm your host, James Lariello, and let's get into another awesome episode I've got coming for you guys. None other than Mr. Devin Pancake. The 2025 Trail Team Elite Selection is on the pod. We caught up with Devin just after his first place, so his dub at the Antelope Island Buffalo Run 25K back at the end of March, beginning of April. And it was fun to have a chat with him, talk a lot about his win, his motivators, what drives him in the sport, what he's so interested in doing. I know he's got some interest in the long stuff and the short stuff as well, so it's fun getting to chat. We also talked about his upcoming race, the Sunapee Scramble, which he's stoked about, where he'll be competing at the U.S. Mountain Running Champs in the Mountain Classic. Really fun episode. Really like Devin. Probably the best last name in all of trail running. Not going to lie. Yeah, this is a fun conversation, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Without further ado, none other than Mr. Devin Pancake.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
Listen up, guys. The Steep Stuff Podcast is brought to you by Ultimate Direction USA. Guys, I am so excited. UD just dropped their new Race Vest 6-liter and Ultra Vest 12-liter in two beautiful aesthetic colors. You guys got to check these new vests out. They're dynamic in ways like that you just have never seen from an Ultimate Direction vest. Very stretchy, lots of storage, beautiful aesthetic colorways coming to you in a new, like a white and blue and an onyx and green. Just absolutely beautiful vests. I think these ones are just like some of the best products we've ever dropped, and I'm so excited for you guys to try them out. Hop on ultimatedirection.com and use code SteepStuffPod. Again, that's SteepStuffPod for 25% off your new vest. I mean, they're already affordably priced, but 25% off is just going to make it so much more affordable for folks in an already increasingly expensive trail running environment. So hop on ultimatedirection.com, get yourself a new vest, a pack, or any hydration solution, and let me know what you guys think. Devin Pancake, welcome to the Steep Stuff Podcast. How are you, man?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Dude, it's great to finally have a conversation. Congratulations on getting selected for the Trail Team Elite this upcoming year for 2025. That's pretty exciting news. Pretty awesome, right?
Yeah. Super pumped. Yeah. It's a pretty cool program that Annie started back in 2022. I've heard of it leading up to me applying for it. Just like I've seen it before here and there. I wasn't really sure what it was or what they were about. It wasn't until I met and went on a run with Garrett Cochran. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Sorry, Garrett, if I butcher that.
Garrett the Parrot.
Garrett the Parrot, yeah. Awesome guy. Ran with him, and he was like, "Oh, you should," because he's been on the club team for a while. He was like, "You should go and apply. And the application's end tonight, so you better go apply." So I did it, and wasn't really expecting too much to hear back. And the interview went great, and they selected me. And so, yeah, super excited. And it's a great support that they put out, and it just helps with that pipeline from specifically people NCAA track backgrounds to trail running. Yeah.
For sure, man. Well, let's talk about that. Let's dive into your running background. We could talk about, let's first talk college, and then we can kind of talk about how you got into running. Why don't you tell the audience like where you ran and what, guess like on the track, like what distances you like the most and specialized in?
Yeah. So I competed for 5 years at Utah State University. It's a state college. Not a lot of people know about it. It's on the near the border of Utah and Idaho in a town called Logan. It was a fantastic experience. I loved it so much. I really fell in love with the community there, the town, and the program. Um, when I was first looking at colleges, I didn't even know, like going into my senior year of high school, I didn't even know that you could compete for for schools in college. My high school coach was like, "Oh, you should start sending recruitment letters to all the different colleges here in Utah." So that's what I did, and that's where I ended up. The program's run by Artie Golden. In my opinion, fantastic coach. But yeah, I specialized mostly in mile 800, 3K on the track. I did do cross country every season. Didn't have as much success in cross country as I did in track. But yeah, specifically in the mile, I'm the school record holder still for that event. Was able to run 4 flat. Just missed the sub 4 mark.
Wow.
And then, yeah, I've really enjoyed 3K, 800. Yeah. And just, yeah, really enjoyed the program, really enjoyed the friendships I made there. And it was, yeah, a fantastic experience.
Super cool. Let's talk about your relationship with running. Like, how did you get into it? Just like as a college or a high school freshman, or were you even younger when you started getting into running?
Yeah, I started running pretty young. So I'm originally from Ohio, a small town called Columbiana. It's in the Northeast. And it was the middle school coach at the time who it's a really small town. So if, he goes and watches, gym practices and, everyone runs a mile, and he saw me and really convinced me pretty hard to come and join the cross country team starting in 7th grade. So I did, and that's kind of where it started. So I've been running for a pretty long time, and I've really just enjoyed it all throughout, and then didn't really take it too seriously until I moved to Utah. I moved to Utah it was when I was 15, so 2015. So I've been in Utah for almost 10 years now. And the level of competition in Utah in high school cross country and track is pretty substantial for how small the population is. And even the team I was on, I had guys I was chasing all the time, and I was never the fastest in any event on my team at any given time. So it was, a great thing to be a part of, and kind of opened my eyes to like real competition, and allowed me to like push myself super hard and get fast times in high school. So
Nice. Let's go back to college, because it's interesting to me. I meet a lot of folks that compete D1 and, a little bit below as well. And it's so crazy to me how many people have like really terrible experiences in college, especially like running, like at track. Was your experience a good one? It sounds like it was pretty good.
yeah, collegiate and specifically D1 running can be such a brutal place of existence for like a lot of people. And it really just depends on the program that you're in and the style of coaching that you prefer, and just the environment that you're in. At Utah State, it's really well known for kind of taking more mediocre athletes and developing you slowly over the course of those 4 or 5 years that you're there for, which I really appreciated, because there's other programs where it's kind of bringing you towards that edge of your abilities sometimes too far, and that leads to a lot of injuries. During my time there, it's all strength and volume focused. So during my time there, I was able to, just slowly build over those 4 years, and the most success that I had came in that 4th and 5th season that I had there. So yeah, I think it really just depends on the program you're in and the social environment and the expectations. Yeah, and yeah, the Artie's a great coach, and really makes you appreciate running like after you're done too. Like there's a lot of my teammates who are still running to this day, and that's not the case for a lot of people who kind of get burnt out pretty easily during those 4 or 5 years, and kind of hate running because all of the weight of expectations and bringing you to that edge of your ability kind of wears down on you. So,
For sure.
yeah, it was a unique program, and yeah, it just made me fall in love with running even more. So.
That's so awesome, man. I'm glad you have a good relationship with it. It is so crazy, man, how many people are like, yeah, like I hated running. I just didn't, I wanted to quit. And then a lot of them either quit their programs and then, 3 or 4 years later, they discover the trails and boom, they become, a professional runner on the trail scene. For you, like what inspired you about the trails? Like, what got you stoked on it?
Yeah, so I've been a fan of this sport and I was trying to today figure out when exactly I kind of discovered what trail running was, or at least competitive. I mean, here in Utah, like, when you're training, even in high school, you're going to go run on trails just because it's, so adjacent to the urban center that you live in. Like, if you're going to run, you'll probably end up on a trail. Um, as far as like knowing about competitive trail racing and specifically ultra running, that came when I watched it was the Found on 49
Yes.
documentary.
What a good, yeah, what a good
Story
one.
of Jim Walmsley. Fantastic, and really like uh transformed my like view of running. And it was like kind of, or like, foundational to uh like my love of the sport, and specifically the love of trail running, ultra running. It started with that, and then, kind of went into the rabbit hole after that. Um, I really fell in love with like Where Dreams Go to Die, the Gary Robbins Sparkly Marathons documentary. And then I watched The Race That Eats Its Young, Unbreakable, the Western States 100, just these really cool films that showcased uh the storytelling and like the humans behind these really weird events. And kind of watching these events, I kind of was like, what is this? Like who I've heard, like, what, like these people are going out for 100 miles plus and bringing their bodies to the limit, and these people, probably have a couple screws loose. And I really like that about the sport, and about the people that do it. So yeah, I kind of got introduced to it and influenced at a young age by all these different films and books that I'd read. Like I read, I forget uh, the name of it. It's the Barkley book, and the name's spacing on me. But
Oh
reading
yeah.
that and reading, um, what's the other book? Born to Run.
Born to
So
Run. Yeah. I still
yeah,
have not read Born to Run. I'm like adjacently aware of it, but I've never read it. I've read
yeah,
like what is it, Scott Jurek's I think it's Eat and Run book that he
yeah,
did. There's quite a few popular ones out there, but I still have
yeah,
not. I think I have literally Born to Run sitting on my bookshelf, but I've never picked it up,
yeah.
which is probably terrible.
But yeah, so I started at a young age absorbing ultra and trail running content, and I kept it up. Like I kept up with the sport from there all through college, and just spectating it. Like I would watch like live Western States coverage, live UTMB coverage. So it was really fun to, follow along like different people's careers and see where they're at now. Uh, and yeah, that's how I kind of got into it. I knew like no matter what, post college, I'm going to go do trails. Like it's just something I knew I really wanted to go pursue. So
Let me ask you this. Was it a little weird then, maybe surreal last year at Antelope 50K to be racing Adam Peterman and like
yeah,
giving him a pretty good fight? Like, I mean, obviously,
yeah,
he ultimately won, but like still like that's how I became aware of you was
yeah,
because of that race. Like talk
yeah.
to me about that. Like what was that experience like?
It was okay. So the lead up to that race, I'll start with, when I graduated 2023 spring. All summer I was working a manual labor job for the Forest Service. Didn't do much running, kind of gave myself a break. In the fall, just did basic mileage. Didn't really know what I was going to do. I thought I was going to, go and try to run sub 4 again, solo training. Got 2 months into that, decided, this isn't making me happy. I, just need to hop into trails. Like it's something I've always wanted to do, and it interests me, and a lot more than trying to pursue this track goal. So went online, went on to Ultra Sign Up, looked for, this is like in January of 2024, just trying to find some, early spring trail races. saw the Antelope Island one. I was like, all right, I'm going to do the 50K, and just, do an ultra as my first trail race. Had only about like 5 weeks of training, really, like of a training block where I started like specifically doing, like chasing elevation during weekly mileage. And so it was a very short training block leading up to it. Had no idea who was in the field. I didn't even look at entrance, before, getting up to the starting line. I remember driving in and parking, and this other guy and what seemed like his partner parking next to me. And I see him get out, and I'm like, oh man, this guy looks really familiar. And then he starts jogging around, and I see that he's wearing a full-on pro Hoka kit, and I'm like, oh, oh, he's definitely sponsored. And I was like, he looks so familiar, and I didn't have time to like, uh, my girlfriend at the time, now fiance, I was like, didn't have time to tell her to like, like look up this guy, and lots of people coming up to him before the race, saying hi to him, and then we start. And 2 miles in, we're running next to each other, and we start talking. And I'm like, what's your name? And he's like, Adam. And I was thinking, like, oh shit, like
this kid just won Western States last year.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I think this is Adam Peterman, because his like, the two weren't clicking yet. I was like, oh, what's your last name? He was like, Peterman, and I was like, oh no. I was like, I'm about to be brought to the well on my very first ultra. And I remember asking him, like, did you win Western States? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And so it was just a like surreal experience, like, just being thrown into the ring with, one of the best in the sport. And it was kind of fun because, I'm a very chatty person. I like talking to people. So I just started chatting them up while we're, moving pretty quick. And it was also surreal to see the difference of strength that I was lacking, especially in like uphill power, of him easily pulling away. And then I would catch him back on the downs and the straights. And that it was a 2-loop course. So that first loop kind of stuck with him almost the whole time. And I was chatting him, get to know about him. I was picking his brain about winning Western and what that was like, and winning Worlds, and just sort of like his background, and just getting to know him. And I think we're heading back out on the second loop, and I was still chatting him up, and it was like a slight downhill, and I was leading and pushing him a little bit. And I remember him like not talking back as much. And I was like, okay, like now we're getting a little bit more serious. And I was like, all right, now I'm racing. And I remember still being there at like mile 20. And I was like, okay, like, if I'm still with them, maybe I could try to win this somehow. But then another bit, I think it's like the longest climb, came back up and just, immediately gone. And kind of, slowly opened up a gap from there. And then I hit a pretty big wall, like just over a marathon, started walking at some points, was able to jog at home, but yeah, totally blew up. And that was on part to, it being my first ultra, and then also only taking about, I think like 5 or 6 gels, up to that point.
Oh my God.
With like barely any feeling. So bonking incredibly hard and getting dusted by him. But yeah, we, chatted after and got to meet a lot of people at that moment in the community, the Salt Lake community, and people like Mike Gonigal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was awesome. It was fun to go and race against him as my very first ultra. So yeah, that was a fantastic experience.
Dude, what an experience. And so cool. Like, because Adam's a really nice guy. Like, did you guys like, did you stay in touch with him? Like, do you ever like reach out to him for pointers and stuff, or?
No, not like through DMs or anything. He knew that I was going to do Speedgoat that year. At that time, he wasn't doing Speedgoat because he was still trying to return to Western. And then, the only other time we talked was at Speedgoat, like after the race, just briefly. So,
and so you opened up your first year with like 250Ks, man. Was that what it was? 250Ks, especially Speedgoat. Speedgoat's
technically 3. So I did the Antelope, that was in March, and then end of May, I did Rufa. I don't know if
Oh,
you're
okay.
familiar
Yeah, yeah.
with that event. That's started by Jared Campbell, running up for air. I did the 6 hour event, and this was it's called Kive Peak. It's this pretty popular peak and trail in Provo. And I think it was around like 7.7 and a half to like to 8 miles, somewhere between there, per lap, with about like 2,800 feet per lap, and I was able to do 4 of those within the 6 hours. So it equated to like just under like 31 miles with 11,000 feet, and that was like in preparation of Speedgoat. So technically, 3 ultras in the span of like 5 months, to start like my trail career. So, and then I also did just a fun little local half marathon trail that's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So
Nice. So
yeah,
you kind of open things up in the 50K distance. Like, are you like ultra curious more? Like, do you want to eventually
yeah,
go run 100 miles, or because I noticed like you just ran Antelope 25K, which you absolutely smashed. What was it, last weekend? Um,
yeah,
are you
yeah.
more
This last Friday.
yeah? Are you more sub ultra guy, or you think you want to do more ultras? Like, what's because you're so talented, you could do either.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. Because I think about it all the time, like, because I'm more drawn towards the longer distances just because that's what I was consuming all the way starting back in high school, and that's what I followed uh, throughout college. Um, and I know it's, ultimately where I want to end up and still be at, um, you know, even like 10 years from now, especially. I think like for the foreseeable future, I kind of want to be doing both. Like, I think it's so fun to go and do these short races and go rip it. Because I think that was probably where I'm more talented at, is these shorter distances. Especially right now, like, I'm only 24 at this point, and, I was only really like a miler uh, back in college. So I have less like, inherent speed that I can use on these like short trails, especially if it's like, 9 miles or less. But it's not so much what I, envision myself doing like long term. So in the initial future, these next couple of years, I really just want to be doing both. Like, I can see myself doing a circ series and then hopping in a 100 miler. So
Nice,
um,
nice.
I find both interesting and just as fun. And yeah, at this point, just want to keep it open to really doing anything. So
That's the beauty of the sport, man, is you can do it all, and it's kind of fun. You can get greedy. What is I didn't so I checked your ultra sign up. I didn't see you signed up for anything, but that doesn't mean you're not. What do you got planned for
yeah.
2020 for your rest of your stuff?
Yeah. So in under 2 weeks, I've got the Desert Rats 21K. Uh, and that's out in Fruita, Colorado, right on the Utah-Colorado border. So I feel like it's a good coming together of Boulder and Salt Lake people to come out and compete. Got that lined up. I am signed up for Speedgoat 50K again this summer. Right as of right now, I am on the fence of coming out to Sunapee and trying my hand at that. Looking at the field is
It's deep.
it's so deep. So many talented people showing up there, and I think it would just be fun to go and see how I size up in that event, and it'd be really cool just to never been to New Hampshire before, so it'd just be a really cool experience. So on the fence about that, I'm leaning more towards yes.
Do it. Yeah, it's because
With
it's such a good experience.
yeah, and with the connection with Andy, he could possibly get me a free entry into the race. So it's great to have like that as a resource, um, and that support from the trail team to be able to go and do that. So it's makes it easier to say yes to go and do that. So going to do that. Um, yeah, and then as far as post speed go, might do another Cirque series. I think there's the Alta one in August. If
I'll see you there.
if I'm not,
Paradise.
yeah,
Yeah.
if I'm not, totally too destroyed by Speed Goat again, because last year's Speed Goat was quite the humbling experience for me. Like, just a completely different behemoth as far as competition, and then ability wise, like, yeah, because like, yeah, last year's like top three was all like schemo guys.
Dude, David Sinclair
And
is truly like
oh yeah,
unbeatable. Like it's
yeah,
insane like how good he is.
yeah, yeah, just yeah. It's in those steep mountain races. Yeah, not too many people in the world that can beat him in those type of events. And running sub 5 hours at speed goat is truly
So stupid. It's
like
crazy.
unbelievable. Yeah. And then as far as like, yeah, post summer, as of right now, I have plans to run a FKT. It's called the UNA Highline Trail.
Okay.
It's about 80 miles.
Nice.
Yeah, and it traverses the UNA range. It's I don't know if you've ever been out there.
I've never been there, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a summer there working a job out there, and really exploring the different canyons and mountains out there. And it intrigues me. And yeah, it's definitely not for the faint of heart. Not too many people have gone out there and done it. It does have like a pretty extensive history though, and yeah, gonna try my hand on it. So along with the trail team, I have support from, it's called the All In Collective.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No.
So this is run by Joe McConaughey. If you're familiar with Joe. Yeah. So he started this, I forget what year he started doing this, but it's him and I think 6 or 7 other coaches who provide one-on-one free coaching for a year. It's like a running scholarship. So I applied and interviewed and got it. And he took me on as one of his athletes. I'm one of his other 2 athletes that are part of this program. And along with that, they sent us like a bunch of different gear. So having him as a coach,
that's as good as it gets, man. Like,
yeah,
awesome.
It's like pretty awesome, and like was so stoked about it. I don't think I would attempt to go and do an FKT like this unless I had him behind me, giving me the rundown of how to do something like that, because he's the expert.
Yeah, he's the long trail master, dude. That's so cool to be able to do. I mean, first off, like, I just love the fact that like you've got this beautiful dichotomy between competition, but also for going for this FKT, which is competition, but it's also kind of soul enriching in its own right as well.
Yeah,
it's like something a little bit different. I don't know. I always found like the long stuff on the FKT side to be really interesting and like really fun. But I only race like the short stuff. It's very weird. I don't know. But like, it's interesting that you can kind of do both and, have success at both. So that's going to be really cool, man. I'm excited for you to go for that. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I'll probably put out more details about it after done more research and picked out sort of the weekends that I'm aiming for to go and do that, if I'm going to do it at all. Cause it'll take a lot of planning, and we'll see if I'm ready for something like that. Come probably late August, September, or somewhere around there. But yeah, I really want to be able to try to do those both styles at once of, ultra competitive races where, you're racing against the best in the sport, but then you also, can go out for adventures. Like, I love adventure runs so much. Like last summer, I was just hitting peaks with like my former high school coach while he was like training for his first 100, and just going slow and moving through the mountains slow and exploring ridges and different peaks and new areas. I really, really enjoy. It's just getting out there and appreciating it, because the Wasatch Range is so beautiful and so accessible. So yeah, I just really like both worlds. And not too worried about, sponsorships or money coming in at this point, just because I don't know, I'm just I'm just, and not too worried about it. If it does or doesn't, I'm here for the long run, and love this sport so much. And, this is like 30-year plan I have for like as I envision it's like my trail career, and just want to like enjoy it and do things that interests me the most.
Dude, I love your enthusiasm, man. Like, it's a really healthy place to be in. Like, you meet a lot of people that especially come off the tracks, track and the roads, and like immediately want success. And like, a lot of them do find it, because they push and push and push. But like at the same time, like, I feel like it's really healthy to just have this, I don't know, just like a long-term plan. Be like, well, I'm going to continue to learn. I'm going to continue to improve. And, that's going to build the healthiest and kind of the best athlete, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's how I kind of view where I'm at right now, is just I want to be a student of the sport by participating in it, not so much viewing it at this point, because I have the ability to go and participate now. And yeah, there's appeal in bringing yourself to, your peak performance and going and competing against the best. Like I want that in my career, but at the same time, like it's, doing that is exhausting and really hard, and isn't so sustainable to do all the time. And so, yeah, especially these first initial years of just kind of enjoying it and learning and not really having to worry about messing up, because, failure is like the best way to like learn in the sport and later down the road have success. So
and failure is like almost guaranteed. Like you're gonna, like, everybody, it happens to everybody. Like everybody has an off race or many off races, and it's all about like learning. Actually, on this topic, I was gonna ask you, because like you're going back to speed goat, so I gotta ask you, like, what do you think that you will be able to have improved upon from year over year? Like, will it be fueling? Will it be just strength and being able to apply that to different climbs? And you tell me, like, what do you think?
It'll be everything. Like it'll be fueling, especially. It will definitely be strength. Like I thought I was doing good training and trying to do steep stuff, but there was like a couple different factors. It was definitely the climbing destroyed me in that race, which, I mean, that whole race, there's not really a flat section. It's all climbing and descending. It was the heat that absolutely killed me. So learning how to heat train and prepare for the heat better. And then also just getting more up at altitude at where the race is held, already at altitude, like, here in the valley, but getting up and doing hard stuff at that 8,000, 10,000 foot level. So it'll be a bunch of different factors that I'll be prepping for, and having a way better building block into that. So, and I learned a lot during that 6.5 hours that it took me to finish that race. And yeah, it was
a lot of time in your own head, right?
It was a lot of time, and just like, on that final climb where you go up on that, I forget the name of the ridge, but it's the last push, the second time you summit Hidden Peak. And just, like stumbling backwards at some points, like, just, and having like the top 4 women in the race just zoom past me on this like final climb, and just losing spaces or like places every second, which is so humbling and so eye-opening about like what I need to change for next year. And I really wanted to come back to it, because it'll be fun to compare and contrast like what a year's worth of preparing and learning and preparation can do, as far as, and maybe I'll do even worse, who knows. So it's that's what I love about it. It's just the mystery of how I'll do at these type of events. And it's not even events that I think, again, I probably perform better if it was a flat 50K, or flat-ish, rolling hills. But I want to, do these things that are kind of just mysterious and
get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely. And make myself really uncomfortable because it's just like a completely new sport almost to me. And that's what's most exciting to me. It's just I'm doing something completely different compared to track and field and cross country. So
super cool, dude. You also gotta go Sunapee. You gotta get that done. I think you're gonna have fun there. Just such a good experience. Like everybody's gonna be there. even Broken Arrow, man, you should try to get in there as well. Broken Arrow is going to be bananas. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy that like this is the year for like we're going to be sending like two or probably like just like a solid group of people to go to these Worlds teams. It's going to be nuts. So
Yeah, you'll have to be insanely fit to make those teams. So
what
it'll be fun.
What are you running in these days? What kind of shoes do you like?
I run in everything, so I don't have a brand that I pick. I like trying different brands. So right now I have a pair of Saucony Trail, the Adidas Super Trail shoe that I've been using for past 2 races. Brooks. I really just go to the running store, pick a new shoe, and see if I like it. If I don't, return it and go with something I know. So I really try to diversify and just try different shoes because I love like trying the different brands, and I've never really stuck with like a single brand when it comes to running shoes. So.
No, I like that. You got to, I mean, dude, it's like the best way to do it is to, because different shoes work for different surfaces, like the Agravic speeds are so fast, that's like for a flat or for something like your 25K at Antelope Island you ran the other day, like that's a perfect like shoe for something like that. Whereas like if it was insanely technical, sometimes it's not so easy to run on that thing. So
yeah.
What do you think of that shoe? I'm just so curious because I've never tried it before. My buddy Nick just got a set of them and he's like, dude, it's like cheating. Like they're so good, but not stable at all.
It's the closest I felt to like Vaporflies, like a proper road race super shoe. Like I've worn the Hoka X. What is the
Tecton? The Tecton.
Yeah, the Tecton. I wore the Tecton 2s for a couple of races. And yeah, they have the carbon plate, but they don't have the same feel as like a Vaporfly. And these shoes have that same feel while still being, a trail shoe. So would I wear the Adidas shoe like in a Speed Go type race? Probably not. Just because that race does get pretty technical and I would want something more stable. But I really enjoy it. Like, yeah, I've done workouts and different races in like Vaporflies, and yeah, it's definitely the closest feel I've had so far as trail shoes go to that feel. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Super cool. All right, man, let's talk trail team. I know you like you said before in the beginning, you're super excited. Are you going to be going? I know they have a bunch of meetups this year. I guess the Grand Lake is probably the first one or something like that. Are you going to be attending all that? What's the stoke level like there?
Yeah, no, I'm super pumped just because of like what they provide at those camps. So I'm definitely going to try to make each one. Luckily with my job, it can be pretty flexible. So right now I work for the state of Utah. I do it's GIS work. It's digital mapping almost.
Yeah, I have a minor in GIS actually.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, I do GIS work for emergency management.
Okay.
And it's nice because I work hybrid. But then like I've also talked to my boss about, doing weeks where I'm like fully remote in different places and he's down for it. So I have that flexibility to like, go to these different camps and events. So I'll try to make each one as best as I can, but definitely going to for sure go to the Grand Lake one. So super excited for that. Yeah. It's just really cool. And it's fun because we have like, there's 2 other people from Utah.
Yeah.
I think Oakley and Hawk. So
yeah. Have you bumped into Hawk yet? Hawk's a monster, dude.
I've never met Hawk. No.
Oh, no? It's so good.
So
oh my God.
I'm planning on meeting up and running with him. And yeah, I definitely need to reach out to more people in the Salt Lake area as far as going on trail runs, because there's lots of people I've yet to meet that are just huge names like in the area.
The contingent is deep. Christian Allen. I was going to bring him up when we were talking about Speedgo. Like Christian Allen is such a freak.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Incredibly talented, incredibly hard worker. And it's cool because he, trains in the trails, but a lot of his training, he's with,
the Olympic guys, right?
Yeah. They with Connor Mance and Clayton Young and that whole group. So um, it's fun to see him kind of balance and do both, and go run a 2:10 marathon, and then go and crush some trails. So yeah, I've never met Christian either. So still a lot of people for me to meet up with and run with and train with. So
Yeah, get ready, dude. You're going to be making a lot of friends this summer.
yeah.
All right. So, dude, we're winding down now. We're at about 40, 45 minutes. So I want to get into some ending questions. Curious to see who inspires you.
Yeah. That's a great question. And I feel like the name that always comes to me first, or a couple names in the sport. One is Courtney Dauwalter. I'm probably the number one Courtney Dauwalter stan out there. She's just like, I don't know. It's just everything, like everything about her approach to the sport, I appreciate and love. It's just comes from this deep love that I also share of the sport and what it means and what it can provide as far as, finding yourself and going to these dark places and almost using it as a form of this long life meditation. I really appreciate. And her approach to like training is, one of a kind, of just completely feel based, and she's self-coached, which is crazy. And yeah, just her overall philosophy to the sport, I have really appreciated, and I've like absorbed all of her podcasts that she's been in, and anything that she's written. So that's one of the names that comes to the mind. Like Jared Campbell, who I've never met.
Legend.
Yeah. But reading all the stuff that he's written, he's had a blog, and yeah, just any interviews that he's in, just these really deep thinkers and people who come from a good place when it comes to the sport and wanting to make it better, and are just lead by example. I really appreciate, and those are people who I want to be like and emulate. And that's why I like right now in the sport of just kind of sitting back, doing research, appreciating where I'm at, and just being a participant. And eventually down the road, like I see myself, wanting to host races, being a race director, and kind of starting things that, I am taking advantage of, like the trail team, like the All-In Collective, because it's stuff like this that really pushes the sport forward, and I'm super appreciative. So yeah, I think those two, and then just people like it. I mean, Jim, from like even just a performance and again like a philosophy standpoint, someone who I followed his career for a long time, of watching all of his UTMB attempts and finally getting it. When it's just a fantastic like storyline, and really a testament to how he takes failure and doesn't really give up. So yeah, just really the giants of the sports that I've come to really appreciate and look up to. And yeah.
That's a beautiful answer, man. It's a lot of you named some heavy hitters there.
Yeah.
Let's talk music. Yeah. Are you a big music guy?
I'm a huge music guy. Big, huge music guy. Yeah.
What's the song that's playing in your earphones before you before you start a workout, or like a hype song? What are you listening to?
Lately, it's been a lot of it's kind of a funky name. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is the name of a band. It's an Australian rock band.
Okay.
I say rock, but they've dabbled in just about every genre on the face of the planet. They have a jazz album, heavy metal, indie pop. So they specialize in live music. I've been to a couple of their concerts. They're kind of, some people equate them. I'm a Deadhead too. I've been to, Dead and Company concerts, but some people equate them to the modern day Grateful Dead as far as like their live music following. Yeah, that's been playing a lot. Yeah, I'm mostly into like softer music too, just like the Bon Iver, the Sufjan Stevens type stuff. Like I'll listen to like incredibly sad stuff like during my runs, which is kind of funny. I enjoy the nice calm stuff because again, like this training and like this sport is for me is just a form of meditation and yeah, so just a real host of different stuff, but yeah, I'm big music enjoyer. I love going to see live stuff. Gonna be at Kobe Court. I don't know if you've ever heard of that festival.
No, what is that?
It's local Salt Lake. Is it Kobe Court or it's like I forget the actual name of it. If it's Kobe Court or something else, it's Kobe something. I've been to it before, where a lot of big artists come and it's like a 3-4 day music festival. Nice. But I'll hopefully be returning to this year because there's some good bands there. But yeah, I love live music, love music in general.
Nice, dude. That's a great answer. That's another one. I've never heard of them. I gotta look. Gave me some notes to write down for things to look up. Well, listen, Devin, dude, thank you so much for coming on. It's a great conversation. I hope to get to see you at Sunapee, man. Definitely sign up for that race. Wishing you the best of luck in your 2025 season. Also, go sign up for see if you can get an entry for Cirque Alta as well. I'll see you out there.
Yeah. So, I'll be looking into Sunapee. Hopefully I'll make it out there.
I love your philosophy, man. Like the way your approach to this sport, like you are 100% going to have success with that approach. Like just doors are going to open. So just keep with it. And I'm excited to see where your career takes you, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm also excited. And even if it doesn't, I'm still going to be here in the sport, for a long time. So either way, I'm here for the ride and I'm just super pumped and excited for, what's to come. So
awesome, man. Well, dude, thank you for the conversation. This will be coming out next week. Really appreciate it.
Sweet. Yeah. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man. What'd you guys think? Oh man, what a fun episode. Want to thank Devin so much for coming on the pod and having a chat. Before you guys get going, hop on Instagram and let's get him some followers. You can find him at devin.pancake. And that's just simply spelled Devin, Devin, pancake, Pancake, just like the popular breakfast food, the pancake. So pretty awesome. Give Devin a follow, send him some DMs, let him know what you guys thought about the episode. I'm sure he'd love to hear your words of encouragement as he's got a really fun, exciting season ahead of him. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did enjoy it, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, or wherever you consume your podcast. That would mean the world to me. It's how we can continue to share the stories of these amazing athletes as they continue along in their journey. And guys, one last thing. This episode is brought to you by Ultimate Direction. Ultimate Direction finally just dropped their new Race Vest 6-liter and Ultra Vest 12-liter in some beautiful colorways. This really aesthetic white and blue that I love. That's the one I've been using. Excuse me, as well as this onyx and green one, which is really beautiful as well. Hop on ultimatedirection.com and use code SteepStuffPod for 25% off. They're already affordably priced, but you know what? Use SteepStuffPod for 25% off, and you're going to get yourself a superior product for your 2025 racing season. So enjoy yourself, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.